This one problem we desperately need to solve.
And wrinklers first. My friends started to worry about me at this point. My girlfriend was receiving countless messages from our friends wondering if I was okay. I hadn't responded to their texts in over a week, and they could see I'd been playing Cookie Clicker on Steam the whole time. But I can't respond to others, because I have to find the shiny wrinkler. If I even take a second to think about something else, like other videos or social obligations, or the fact that I haven't eaten in the last 14 hours, I might miss my drowsy fern harvest for the third time. I began to break down. I worked in the stock market from the moment I woke up until the moment I fell asleep. Sleep was my only freedom from the shackles of Cookie Clicker, until I lost that too. As soon enough I started to, and yes, I'm being 100% serious, have Cookie Clicker related nightmares, just staring at the Cookie Clicker screen, never able to look away. There's no escape from the child.
Yep. There's more.
Have you seen the videos of the teachers explaining they can't teach the kids? None of them pay attention. They stand at the front of the class and they try and teach them something, and they're all phased out completely. Attention spans rotted away, completely gone. And they explain that they stand at the front of the class and they're looking at all the students. Not one of them's paying attention. None. And if they bring it in and they have to really put loads of attention into making things exciting and bright, and because they're competing with like 30-second intensely edited videos on these social media platforms, so they're trying to make things entertaining, they phase in for a few seconds and then they're gone. And it's like dealing with someone who has battle PTSD or something, and they're so rattled by social media that they cannot pay attention. And loads of teachers are saying it, and they're screaming out at people, basically saying, "Hey, listen, I'm the person that's looking after your kids. I can't teach them. Like these kids are impossible to teach, and the stats are showing it. Numeracy and literacy numbers are down by like close to 70%. These kids are not achieving. It used to be that a small portion of kids would fail, but the large portion would get through. And now it's a small portion that's getting through, and the large portion are just failing. And it's a massive problem because they're also not communicating with each other very well. They're not making friends. Bullying is off the scale. It's way more now than it ever used to be. The kids are getting bullied more. They're not communicating with one another. They're sheltered. They're high anxiety. And it's...
Wow, I will always get haters on my channel. It will never end, guys. In fact, I will just get more. Okay, enough about me.
And it's not good. It's not good. They're also not working. The stats show that these kids will not work. They're not going out into society and, learning a trade or getting into no ambitions. It's the downfall that we didn't see coming. Because the stats are also showing that in China and these other countries, they're learning more, they're achieving more, and they're excelling more. They're more social.
These other countries. What do you mean these other countries, though?
We often think that the problem and the downfall would come from outside of ourselves, It'll come from some nefarious country invading us or something like that. But the irony is, and I think...
It always comes from the downfall of not knowing how to do stuff. Right now, we live in toxic capitalism and everything feels grim, I imagine. But we have to talk about obsessive behavior, right? Of being obsessed over something and not being able to pay attention to anything else, even though you probably should. And how do you do that? In other words, I call this dealing with the infinite. Now, because I'm not a bully, it's hard for me to understand why bullies do their thing. What kind of desperation makes people do that? Maybe it's one of those attention-seeking tests of what it would take to get attention, to feel a little bit more comfortable with yourself. But what I mean by infinite is that almost everything on the internet is infinite. It takes a long time to do the cookie clicker thing. Even schools are technically infinite. It's just going on and on and on for 12 years. And there's an infinite amount of knowledge to be learned. In case you want to be a nerd. I mean, I imagine these children are aspiring to be influencers. Because that's all they get, you know? And they technically should care about that a little bit. Building things, yeah. Children definitely missing physical activity at this point. We'll literally have to go back, scale down the education, because if education is just talking, it's very difficult to actually cram that information and actually conflicts. So this is quite a good suggestion. Perhaps it's a good idea. Try not to conflict interests. This is just an idea. I think it works. We can only have ideas, my friends. Dealing with the infinite is, there's no easy solution, you know? You have to have variety. You have to force yourself out, basically, out of doing something and do something else. Because you can do that one thing forever. You can even spend time with a person forever. Be obsessed about something. It's just an obsession thing. It's just a collapse of your mind to find comfort on a one specific thing. It's also drug addictive substance to find the infinite, basically, and attach to it. And now that TikTok is being, offered to children, it is also, yes, like everyone is suggesting, a weapon. A weapon that someone else created and just shoves shitty content down people's throats, basically. But same goes on YouTube. You can end up bullying yourself. You can end up bullying me because I'm not producing good enough content or whatever. Even though my intentions are pretty clear that I'm here to educate and not worry about content quality too much. I want to feed cool ideas of what you can find on the internet. How internet can keep you alive. We haven't finished this?
I think it will be this, is that it will be us in the end that destroy ourselves and social media, and we just slowly slip it.
Again, it's your decision to destroy yourself. You can slip into the infinite in any way that you want. Which is why it's important to find meaning in things or create goals for yourself. Your job is to make infinite very finite. It's just another way of saying you have to have variety, but I have to say it out loud. Give yourself timers. Give yourself a poke to see, should I switch? Should I switch to something else? A variety of things is gonna set you free from stupid shit. Another thing that kind of helps is counter. Counter the infinite. Create your own. Right? So if everyone is flexing on social media, you kind of have to join in and create something of your own. If you just eat games and consume games, you have to create games too. Even if it flops, even if you're genuinely given up inside yourself, you should still try to counter the infinite by trying to figure out what you would do. What would your first step would be while everyone else is doing their own thing? What would you do? Would you want to complete Cookie Clicker 100%? Is that a reasonable thing to do? Or would you just want to experience it to the point where things are no longer fun? Right? This is how I see it. take things one by one until it's not fun anymore. You don't have to copycat behavior of like, oh, this person did better than me, and I have to compete with them. This is why bullying is on the rise, by the way. Alright? Bullying is, I did better. And you just can't. You know. You can do better than me. The only thing you can do is mock people for not being good enough. Guys, you're not good enough at Cookie Clicker. I'm like top tier player. I'm not done here. I'm a top tier player in Tetris, Trackmania, Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, boys. I'm top player. I'm the best player in the game, guys. I just didn't complete this 100% because I don't care that much. I almost like envy people who have time for shit like this because they can enter the infinite worlds, they can do their thing, and move on to something else. They have literally worlds to explore. And the only thing you have to do is not attach to them. Not. Yes, the longer you spend time, it's cooler, but like you actually don't want to attach to this shit. Or if you're willing to attach, you still have to jump around to get that variety first, and then you go back to push further. And hopefully you still have good enough memory of like what the fuck you did last time. There's people trying to be good at GTA 5, I guess. Although that's questionable. I would suggest playing GTA 4. I completed GTA 4 personally. Thought it was cooler. I technically have every game I ever played tier list. Now this one hit me. Programming is also infinite, and especially for one person. This is my project of how it looked like at the very beginning. When I was inventing a new rendering system, guys. And I want to bring it back, but everything is so infinite I barely have any time for myself. Which is not the worst thing, now you get to live your life. You finally have crammed enough time into things you want to do. The next problem is obviously duties. And that is, I don't know what to do about that. I don't really have a job. I am a technically pathetic jobless person that's right after COVID, I couldn't get a grip on a job. I will just blame the apocalypse and move on with my life because this should be fixed. This is an emergency across the world. Not having jobs is like the dumbest thing ever. Because jobs provides money. And actually another infinite resource, by the way. But a resource that's actually very valuable. Now, I have plenty of money, so I can just sit jobless, but I can never give that advice of like just sit around, get a grip on just government welfare system of some kind. I don't know what to actually advise people in my situation. I had jobs, like it's not that fucking complicated if you just go around physically looking for a job, I hope. Study what you care about. Alright? Keep track of what you care about. Keep data. I do that at least. Alright. I'm trying to feed the brain that has like infinite time. Because the finite time means that you have like to worry about jobs. And work is good. All right, like when you do a job, by the way, you kind of like stop existing and you trade your time for money, which is it's actually great to be jobless. It's actually great to have extra time laying around. As long as you're not lazy and you're not giving in into the abyss of doing nothing. Because that's what workplaces actually pull you away from just laying around doing nothing. I mean, it can be exhausting and dehumanizing, but, well, still saves you from nothing, which is even worse. Much worse thing than you can do to yourself. And right now, I'm still fighting personally to maybe exit the other end, maybe find a job by squeezing myself through the internet and providing way too much content, even if it's not that great, creating that infinite to basically teach people how to handle this stuff. All right, I make infinite content, so I know what I'm talking about. I know how you should interact with me as well. You definitely can't watch all of my videos. That's the problem that you need to solve, right? Is just that simple though. But you have to do something. You have to get familiar with my content because it's probably very important. Because not only I make infinite content, I make variety of content. Making infinite content, it's easy. You just pick up a fucking game to play and throw footage into the abyss that is the social media. To make infinite variety content, you need to care about a lot of things. And that shit, I don't even know who can do that. Because you're actually disincentivized from doing something like that. Now, this guy probably would do something like that. People who try things, right? But I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen when I look into his channel. I 100% is a completionist. So he actually put himself on a track basically on doing this type of content, which is really, really crazy content, by the way. Lego Fortnite Odyssey. But at the same time, like, some of this you would want to watch. I would want to watch Lego. I want to know what the fuck this is about. His thumbnails are a little bit weird. When it wasn't weird, it just got viral. I guess it doesn't matter. That's interesting. It's a completionist, guys. So you don't have to feel bad for him. Actually, you should, because that shit is the worst thing you can do. But technically, a person goes deeper than you would, sees the entire scale of the game, and whether it's and kind of gives you the vibe of how deep you should go until things are no longer interesting anymore. You can get that idea, but you probably don't want to spoil the game either for yourself. And again, it does not just apply to games. Dealing with the infinite is TikTok, YouTube as well. It's an appendage. They're talking about content. There's always going to be infinite content. You go outside, there's infinite directions to go to into infinite locations, right? With infinite people to talk. Every time I go down the fucking street, why don't I see a single face that I've seen before? How is that possible? That is not possible, right? You would think. But no matter how many times I go outside, there's different fucking gangster guy going around. There's different fucking old person. Different just normal regular people. Every single person is unfamiliar face. I can't believe that. Even like homeless people keep changing places. Like what the hell is going on? Homeless people are like the most familiar faces, I would say, that you should get. But yeah, that's infinite people. Infinite foods to try. Infinite pets to pet. Yep. Infinite cars and items to look at, to buy. Like, there's so many infinite things. And clearly you just need the variety. But what happens next? What happens when people don't want to fucking communicate with you and all that shit? You know? Again, we're playing a game right now. And the game is called Don't You Dare Run Out of Money. That's the only thing you have to actually worry about. And we talked about capitalism very, uh, very not long time ago. So it was 2 episodes ago, right? I said capitalism is a game. That is the secret. The secret is that you should not run out of money. You should not make terrible decisions that put you into debt, into homelessness, and potentially in a harm's way where you're probably fucked, you know? You're probably morally fucked. You will never build a family. You know, you will never have real relationships. You will never feel happy anymore. Now, do I have real relationships though? That's a big question mark. I feel like I'll just pretend that everyone is a fucking bully and they don't know how to actually even have big brain during the capitalism. All right, to have big brain, you have to shelter yourself, and also, again, it's another apocalyptic thing. So during the apocalypse, you will not get a job and you will not make friends. I'll tell you that much. You can actually get closer to your family and people who are close to you during the apocalypse because you have to help each other do things in life. You have to be more efficient. You can grow personally with these people who are closest to you. You cannot grow with people who are far away and have their own fucking problems and don't look at you the same way that you kind of would like them to look at you. You don't look at each other with respect because you're not dealing with the same problems whatsoever. Distance makes things really complicated. Also, you have to just make a mental map of what is the closest thing that you can do that feels like an achievement. What can you do? I'll show you something. I created this channel for a reason. Very simple reason. I give every single artist that I want to get to know of what do they have, what content do they have. Every single influencer person, if you want to become an influencer, this is what I would recommend doing. One by one, you peel off what are influencers are doing, what they accumulate, and how you react to their content, basically. I think it's a very clean format. Now, will it break through eventually? I don't know. It's not going anywhere. The top video is still 170. If you exclude One Hit Wonder, sometimes I don't know if my main channel is going anywhere. You know, it's just confusing. Are people in these like subscription fatigue or something? Because technically we should be supporting each other and trying to prove to YouTube that like we all care about each other, right? So we're all trying to get the 1,000 subscribers and a little bit more. You know, this is the easiest way across the internet. Is the easiest way to establish communication, not necessarily in real life. In real life, we just have problems to deal with. Unless you have friends and you invite your friends over to play games or whatever, internet is the second best thing to use for communication. I have not figured out, besides, like, you have to build your social media then, and then make friends, but it's still complicated of how that happens. I personally found like the most connectivity, not necessarily friends, but through Discord. So this shit works. You just need Discord. That is the most efficient. The most efficient way to communicate is going to be the place you make friends, right? But don't expect going into a Discord channel that you're not going to get bullied and that it's not going to be a toxic environment. It always is. And you have to push through it and get what you want. Get something out of it, you know? This is kind of like internet survival guidance. One of those videos that I definitely need to have. In fact, I probably wanted to make one in the first place. But yeah, you pick a subject, you drill into the subject for a day perhaps, throughout the whole day, you do something, and then you switch. The next day you do another thing, and you plan one thing after the other. You can add a movie into your day, one movie, one game to play, one influencer to care about, I don't know. I don't want you to copy and paste my behavior, but I feel like uh it's a good blueprint to start with, right? Because I'm trying to like bring it down to like super simplicity. Your day should focus on that one thing that you want to do. You can split into two, technically, into a relaxing activity and an intense activity. Gaming can sometimes be intense. It's not just relaxing. Doing something of your own can be intense. Interacting with the world, while what just consuming content that other people provide can be relaxing. Right. But during that relaxing state of mind, you should still make sure to do exercise or to do some kind of self-healing activity, whether eating foods, sometimes just learning, taking notes, right? Even when you're relaxing, you have to hold on to your ability to heal faster. You still have to push yourself to heal because that's what relaxing is all about, right? And appreciate people. Give them feedback when you watch their content. Accelerate the communication because we have to get out of this fucking wormhole where we are nasty to each other. That is not gonna fucking help anyone. People are waiting. I'm saying waiting for the internet to actually function the way it's supposed to function and give people just a heads up that like you watched the content, you liked it, and you found something of value that you will attempt to apply. And maybe that person wants to talk about it a little bit more. Or maybe you have already exclusive experience of like what you're gonna do with this new insight or new feeling. While when we do intense things, you need to really know how to not get lost in the anxiety and not make things too intense to the point where like you get exhausted doing it. I'm not yet sure how to improve this. We just know that relaxing is it's not completely passive behavior, and intense activity is not completely full on active. Like I can't do programming for a long period of time. What I can't do for a long period of time is make video. That's not too difficult. And again, an infinite things can come out of you as well creatively. There's so many infinites. So there's an obvious solution to that, right? Is that you have to pick every single infinite that seems most interesting to you, make those choices, create that bucket list of things you care about, and then you can start grinding. So intense, but focused. You cannot split yourself into multiple pieces. Focus means that it's still a relaxing activity because you're fully focused on one thing, one target. I think that is completely enough. That's why this one thing for a day and then relaxing should be recognizing that people need feedback. Now, I personally don't give off likes to people. I also don't receive likes anyway, so who cares, right? I don't give likes. I don't put emphasis on likes. That's not important, I don't think. Alright? Like is your own feedback to yourself, whether you liked a video or not. It's not really a feedback to creator. Feedback to creator is sending a comment. You also need to give feedback to your parents, your friends, whether you like something, you don't like something. But you also want to have a variety, not to just look like a fucking hater who hates everything or who picks on everyone for their flaws. Just because you found a flaw, that's not exactly a feedback that is necessary. And sometimes you're just gonna get rage baited into, say, being a fucking grammar Nazi or picking on someone's appearance, even though they're confident with their appearance and they're okay with you picking on them because it gives engagement. Algorithm does not understand that your bullying is apparently supposed to help the creator that you hate. You failing the whole assignment right there. If you don't like something, you have to take a step back, repurpose yourself. If you just ran out of content, find the next thing. You gotta find the next thing to do, and you gotta cross over on the mental map that, well, this is not working out. It's probably nice to have a map, like a big ass map of things that you have done across the day. For me, this is enough, technically. If I scroll back, I can remember most of the insights that I had, most of the things I've done. It's still a interesting journey in case I gave a fuck, right? In case I wanted to show something to someone. But I would start with my YouTube channel, right? Every time I make a memory successfully or unsuccessfully, I throw it out there. And Rocket Ship happens to be the most potent version. Because we're talking about literally people existing on social media successfully or unsuccessfully. And there's only so much that I can get out of them until the video ends. I want to make these 1 hour long every time, but not every time is that possible. And sometimes it becomes a struggle, and I need to, like, I personally also need infinite music videos. Well, you need to find the breaking point. You need to break down and give up at some point, right? At some point, the infinite should overwhelm you. Either way, either you don't get enough of what you want, or you get too much, and then you check mark of like, yes, that worked. It gives me something I want much longer than expected. I can keep doing what I'm doing with this thing, but probably like next month I'm gonna check back on it, how it feels. So it still feels fresh. You want to kind of keep things fresh. It makes things a lot more exciting because the most exciting thing is sometimes just waiting for that thing to happen. Like there's so many artists that I want to check out, but I'm kind of just sitting on it. And I can sort of start anytime I want. That's what makes it exciting, right? I'm getting closer and closer, technically. I'm getting that magical amount of free time to do my thing, to check another person. And it's always exciting to me. For children, you have games. You can continue playing the game that you liked. But you also have to be aware of how other games look like. And you have to be aware of gaming channels. or even try to make friends, try to, you know, tangle with people who are making content who don't have that many subscribers, who are just young, who just started, you know? Find those kind of people. So, in order to defeat the infinite, we started with variety, right? Explore what variety even means. How many things can you find in life, right? Because apparently I can just keep talking and keep finding more and more things that you can be doing, you can be focusing on. These like noob YouTubers who may never make it to even 1,000 subscribers, you know, but you can still unite forces and learn from each other and now connect for the same goal. Maybe the goal is going to be capitalistic dream of being an influencer, a teacher, a person with power. And I still think I haven't finished this. I might not have even watched half of it. Okay, 2/3, I think.
Into what looks like a real life version of idiocracy.
Well, everyone defaults into thinking this way, basically. But, I mean, I think he's just too scared. We're 5 years into the apocalypse. We're 5 years into people making terrible decisions for themselves. There can't be a wave of, you know, enlightenment. When people are down, they're gonna listen. They're gonna listen to God's voice, to people who are way more powerful than they are, way more influential, way more esteemed, whoever they might be. Right? People become increasingly more vulnerable to spawn these creatures, like myself potentially, right? Who will tell proper advice of what to do and how to treat this situation. And again, absolutely, this is important. Real life skills. I mean, we would like that, but school does not quite have enough, or even a curriculum that does. Oh yeah, it's time, bro. It's time. I mean, say Dark Passenger sounds like a person that you might want to listen to right now. Sounds like a guy who nailed it. Maybe it's time to be more parenting towards these children and ask what they care about. To use school as a social media self-expressive place where children still feel that whatever they're doing is important, but it's also important to be mindful of your surroundings, of where you are, and that you need to self-express if you want to like get ahead of everyone. How about that, right? Basically challenging children into making sure that whatever they're doing in their lives still provides them with value and something they would want to share with everyone else, right? Why are people not communicating with each other, right? It's kind of weird. They should have esteem. Most importantly, it's building esteem that whatever they're doing should be important. Like, they should find something. The internet is full of things. So it's about bringing that esteem and telling them, yeah, internet is full of cool things, and you should find something you would want to share. Again, this is real. I have Discord. You can use it to share your own things that you find cool. Although I can only allow image. I think image comes after the text. So you type in text and an image at the same time. You can only post one time in like a day. It's a slow mode, guys. I can bypass the slow mode, but once a day, you should be using this and posting something interesting for me. If you consider me a teacher or a dummy teacher, all right, you can test me out of like, is this cool or not cool? All right, did you found something interesting or didn't? I can evaluate. What else do we have? Just don't dive into the idiocracy because that will be very sad, dude. Every conspiracy theorist did that.
It's strange. Have you seen the videos of the teachers explaining?
Oh, he didn't do that. See, even TikTok can absolutely provide you with proper content, but you actually have to have brains for it. And you gotta be not using it too much because when TikTok finds your weaknesses, it will exploit your weaknesses of like whatever you really care about. You want to look at all these little kittens because you can't have one yourself or something. Like, I don't know, man. It gets really weird. Of like the thing that you cannot have, the TikTok is gonna start fucking teasing you with like a cat toy in front of your face. And you are forever trapped in this infinite insanity. The most insane thing that infinity can do against you, and we have discussed that with Hightail, alright? The most insane thing to do is chase after something you can't have. Alright? Shut the fuck up, brain. Sometimes it's an interesting thing to have one of these when it comes to like love interest. It's technically something you cannot have. You cannot have the perfect partner. You cannot have a perfect set of skills and a body that like your max stats. You cannot have max stats, but you can definitely dream about it for a whole fucking year like I am doing right now. We gonna grind the fucking max stats at least as a way to put our mind at ease of like, yes, I'm doing the right thing all the time. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, the most insane thing is to try and complete something for 100%. You should never do that. You should allow yourself to have breathing room and complete something 50%. Alright? Just give up at some point. And it's still gonna make for a good story. You know? It feels like putting yourself on this pattern is also like self-destructive as hell. Unfortunately. Like, why is that? How is that possible? 100%? No, there's no way you can actually 100% everything in your path without like I watch Completionist and I know how it ends. We all know how it ends. It ends in a tragedy. So you have to, whatever you're doing, you have to look at other people doing the same thing, and maybe some of them have already ended their careers, and it didn't work out very well. You thought completionist behavior can last forever? The funny thing is, completionist actually completed games multiple times, not just once, which is kind of a weird thing to do. I'm not sure how much anxiety you have to have playing all of these, especially hard games, right? Like, what the fuck do you have to go through? And there's still respect for a guy like that. No matter what kind of shady shit he was brewing. On the other hand, we got to see the interesting personality. He's best with the mods, bro. You definitely don't want to complete Skyrim 100%. You gotta pick. Gotta pick what you're comfortable with. Are you capable of pushing one more day of this type of content or not? If not, maybe you can actually figure out why and make that your day. Figuring out why you can't do things anymore. What is lacking? I'm not just saying day for no reason. I upload shit every day on my card game channel. I push every day. Also, people shouldn't be fucking watching this. This is just pain. I really don't want them watching this. This is great. This is still growing out of control. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We have a chance to break. 2.5. As I say, we have a chance for a new era on my channel because the largest video decides everything. Like, even Rocket Ship is suggesting me, like, people are indirectly suggesting me something very specific, right? Looking at nostalgic creators. Annoying Orange is one of those nostalgia creators. Or it could be a children's creator, but it's not. It's a nostalgic creator. So if I die, like, Rosanna also can be a nostalgic creator to some people. It's not fully developed here, but it's because I haven't tried it right now. But so the theme is set. If you're making social media, your best performance is gonna set the stage, right? If you're doing something infinite, your best performance will set the stage of what you could be doing. A very good idea of what you could be doing to achieve a greater achievement eventually. Maybe a more precise version of that thing. Wow, I even have achievements highlighted. Do you see that? It's kind of funny. Wait, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, baby, let's go. Literally here. YouTube have glitched. It's also easier to pick a choice that way. Alright? Picking a choice is easier with focus. So there's a lot of like movies out there. There's a lot of content to choose from as well. Because it's not always going to be served onto your plate. You have to like figure out, what the fuck do I do now? So you follow people for that reason. You try to attach to yourself of like, oh, Keanu Reeves looks like a cool person. Justin Timberlake looks like a cool person. Or like you might want to laugh at Justin Bieber or something. You want to go through that era. Who the fuck knows who's gonna impress you, but you just follow that person across their spam of content, and all of a sudden you made a choice. You made a choice out of thousands of people, out of thousands of movies or videos to watch. You picked a choice, and you can successfully grind the whole day. You have defeated an infinite every single time you did the right thing. You have defeated an infinite that could make you anxious of like, whoa, I'm floating in space and there's so many things to do, so many foods to eat, and you become fat with all of these ideas and nonsense, basically. Like, I call these people big chungus for a reason. I've recently uncovered the biggest chungus ever, and maybe you should watch that video next. I don't know, it's the most recent. It's the most high quality, boys. It's the high esteem, because I feel like I broke a world record of sorts. And I uncovered a person that's technically pretty relevant across social media, but never actually uploaded any content to justify his existence, right? He just uploaded a bunch of thoughts, a bunch of random shit that he was holding in his brain, and I was able to like collect that shit. That's big chungus right there. It's not necessarily a direct insult. It is still encouragement for you to share how you feel about things like trains. People have passion arguing about trains. I have found many big chungus, and this is starting to become a moment of like, wow, I found a bunny that cannot run away from me. Who has a lot of things to say and decided to actually say on my channel, right? Now they will be somewhat hostile and say things against you, arguing against your shit. They try to be outsmarting you without having, again, social media to back them up. But this is very interesting stuff, right? the dude tried to spin that I'm calling him fat or whatever. Like, they have such weird thought process. They can't even catch a grip of what I actually mean by big chungus. No, I don't know how you look like. Why would I call you fat? What's the point of that? But it's a fat comment that you leave behind, right? So that might be the next video you watch. Trying to understand the definition. Also, understand the definition of NPC. There's, again, a lot of bullies out there, and they behave in slightly different ways, but always the similar pattern of bullying. Bullying is a pattern of behavior. And I have a collection of these fuckers already on my Discords. Because when you're dealing with the infinite, what you don't want to do is deal with shit like this. Alright? People tell you to get mental help, basically. Mental health help. Even like fucking dog NPCs, bro. Like all these people walking dogs, you don't want to sunk in a lot of your time in things that don't matter right now. That is how you reach your downfall. That's how you reach the idiocracy. You submit to one particular infinite. Even if you like memes and stupid shit and fart jokes, that does not make you a bad person. As long as you don't spend too much time there and you respect other things too. So in other words, respect other things too. Other people. Learn how to do that. That will help. And now this video is coming to an end. And usually I have no idea what the fuck do I do? I will still leave this up. And maybe I'll have one more idea to talk about. I'll see how this like sits in my brain. It could just, the end. Or find a conclusion that like satisfies me. Chungus NPC book writer. But the book is disturbing and offensive and you can't even read it without flipping tables. That's right. I have a perfect description for it. Just because I cared to have one in the past, because this is a definition. This is a reoccurring fucking villain. Right? This is why it's important to collect information and have collections in general of things you like or dislike. You want to avoid, you want to recognize in some kind of way. This is why I give them names, so I can avoid them faster. I can call them out for who they are so they fucking bounce off of me. Because there are leeches in the world, there's evil in the world, and you want to defeat it as quickly as possible. And there's the good stuff in the world, the good infinites, the bad infinites, the good infinites, right? There's social pressure. What do you do if your friends ask you to do something? Well, again, you have infinite sanity of when you become uncomfortable. You cannot be insulted because you can only take in finite amount of insults until you have to, stop the activity. But you should still say yes. Should always say yes. You should never block people. You should just remind them that you have finite resource to spend. Of like, the moment I feel really uncomfortable, I'll have to go. And I'll tell you why I'm uncomfortable. Right? Anytime you are uncomfortable, do a poke. Maybe you have to exit the situation. Poke yourself, like, have you reached your limit? You gotta go then. It is with every single situation. Seek comfort every single time, right? Unless you are committed to some kind of behavior, to finishing something, then you're gonna be comfortable the other end. Finishing a conversation or whatever. Finishing a game, a level. Finishing a video. You'll be comfortable on the other end instead of like not knowing what that last part is, right? You definitely don't want to cut it short when you're like 80% of the way there. Because when a bad things happen, well, that's 20%. and no longer that short, you know? Which is why you shouldn't feel bad about this guy who did the cookie clicker thing. Because eventually he saw the end of the tunnel. He was very close. He kind of like just scripted this whole thing to make it look like it was a miserable experience clicking a bunch of crap that eats his cookies or whatever. Wranglers or something? Fucking crazy shit. Wrinklers? You must also understand that your relationships and your stats can go infinite. Your stats can go infinite. But at the same time, it's foolish to pretend that that's how it works. Because you have finite resources to go infinite. And you don't want to put all eggs in one basket, right? You need a variety of, like, you have to respect this person and that activity and that and this and that. Respect is the easy way out of this, alright? Respect this and that. It's such an easy way out, it's almost like that's the solution. Respect is the solution. Respect everything around you, every color, every path, everything that you haven't done, you have to respect. Everyone who passes through, you have to respect. And as long as you respect everyone, you don't reach the disrespect level to anyone in particular. You don't make enemies. Unless someone really noisy gets way too close to me, then we're fucking enemies. I'm throwing all the tanks at your dead ass. You know, it's fuck off. Wasting my privacy. Good luck with that. Yeah, one of the funny things about Infinite, trash is infinite. If you can turn trash into something valuable, you have infinite of those valuable things. You have to remember that there's infinite materials out there as well. Of all kinds, it's not just literal trash, but something people don't value enough that you can potentially pick for yourself. I mean, Amazon is turning into trash now, into returned items, pile of trash. Out of all the videos that Style Theorist was making, like, what? That's the one? You should never buy Amazon or... No! No! But I wanna! I want trash. Alright, I'm gonna give you guys a scoop and let you go.
Important to pay attention to those categories when your sellers actually lose money on any item that's returned. Yeah, going into
I mean, obviously.
items. So instead of the seller paying restocking fees, storage fees, and additional disposal fee, right? Otherwise, that product, both new and used, ends up in one of three places. Like methane pollution, they have to. Amazon does say products are incinerated and then power a generator.
Oh, this week, we're going to be going to an Amazon liquidation store.
Money, you buy it with the intent to return it for your money back, is technically return fraud.
Where this stuff is gonna go to people
Yeah, but why?
that probably
But why, though?
really.
Oh my god, I hit 10,000 points of outside. Because that's the most infinite thing ever. That I don't want to fucking spend time on. And still I spend so much time outside. Just going shopping, bro.
Makes its money.
Yeah, unfortunately, the outside world kind of stinks right now. This is what people have to give up on, unfortunately. Like, there's not a lot of good shit that you can do outside, at least in my point of view. I have big brain. There's nothing, bro. There's no one intentionally inviting you to go outside anyways. If they did, again, I have to say yes, but I never did. Nobody asked. They've taken everything worthwhile. Wow. Why did they use Danny so much, man? He did it once. Yeah, there's no clear answer, guys. We got lost in the infinite and we got scammed. We got scammed, bro. I want to buy a bunch of junk when I grow up. If there were like $10 loot boxes, fuck yeah, let's go. Fucking junk boxes. That's way better than buying actual toys. It's a fucking loot box. You can give it to a child. It's better than toys. What the fuck? You have to sort through that to make sure it's not like fucking dirty and shit. But even that is a child's responsibility. You don't even have to worry about that either. They have to worry about it. You just have to let them know that they will get sick if they open the box. That is the punishment. You don't even have to punish them for anything. This is perfect. Fuck you, Amy. I'm buying them. Amazon returns whenever I feel like it, and if I can afford it, and other conditions apply. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, there's probably infinite of that you can buy, by the way. Infinite. Infinite. It's over, guys. My video is not infinite. It's 1 hour long. Ha 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 ha.